What's up, guys? Welcome back to Imperfect, the show where we have all kinds of guests talking about all kinds of topics. But this episode's going to be a little bit different. Let me explain. So, I know you guys have been watching all of our recent episodes about with the Zoom meetings. I love it. I love to be able to talk to guests that don't live here, but you guys know that I love having people here. I love people looking people in the face. I don't like the quality Zoom gives. It's definitely not where I want it to be. Plus, I just feel like conversations flow so much better when they're in person because you don't have that delay and lag. So I'm sure you guys and myself, especially with the editing and the pain of what Zoom meetings can be, I want to give you guys something a little bit different. I want to give a little bit better quality. I want to give you guys something directly here without the Zoom and without going through that pain. So we're going to be taking a break from the Zoom meetings once a week. So what I mean is we upload twice a week. We're going to have our Zoom guest once a week, and we're also going to have these for at least a couple of weeks and kind of play it out. Now, I have kind of a bunch of different ideas that might not align with you guys completely. Also, quick note, if you guys read the descriptions of all YouTube videos, they'll have a little bit like a brief description so you guys can kind of see if you're even interested in that episode. I don't expect you guys to watch every single episode, but I want you guys to watch who you feel like you'll relate to or understand or would be interested in. So I always put a good brief explainer in the description down below. So with that being said, though, we are going to be taking a break and kind of once a week uploading a kind of one-on-one with me talking directly with you guys with some, like I said, all kinds of different ideas that I have, and we'll see how it goes and how you guys like them. So you just bear with me. But aside from that, we will be having our Zoom meetings with all kinds of guests. I still have a awesome lineup of guests that I'm super excited to share with you guys. So still stay tuned for that. With that being said, though, today we're going to be jumping into these weird kind of topics, and I kind of wanted to talk about this in different episodes, and I have a little bit, but I figured let's kind of just bring them all together and talk about it all at the same time. I want to talk about all the biggest inspirations that have been my biggest inspirations, from back then to now, to back in the day to now, and some lessons learned that I've learned some serious lessons, one in particular that we'll get to for sure that I want to spread with you guys. And just share these experiences. And some of these experiences, these lessons, these inspirations are going to be about me meeting some of the biggest celebrities at the time and now for you guys to kind of learn some things from. And what I mean by that is a lot, like at the time, to give context, to better understand this, you guys know. If not, I'm telling you guys, I was a dancer for 10 years. I was a hip-hop dancer. I loved dancing. It was amazing. At the time, I had this idea that I wanted to be a backup dancer. I wanted to be a music video dancer. Like I wanted to be like kind of bigger. Like I didn't want to just own like a local dance studio, which, just saying, local dance studios are very, very profitable. You will make good money, just saying. But I did want to travel. I did want to get out there. I did want to meet celebrities. I wanted to be on stage, on tour. That was my goal at the time, right? So I wanted to do everything I could possible to get in front of people. And that includes like meet and greet sessions or whatever I could do to try to meet people. And so if you guys want to do something that's like, especially if it's like related to like putting yourself out there, this is going to be some lessons for you and how there's just a big conversation that we can kind of talk about that I want to grow. And especially, guys, each of these things, any lessons or thoughts or ideas you have in the comments below, please, if you guys share something more personable or have some ideas or something that I'm about to talk about, I would love to add that and continue that conversation in Imperfect Fam on Facebook. You guys can join if you guys haven't joined already. But this conversation can be grown, and there's something to be said here about this kind of, paying to meet your celebrities. There's a big conversation, but we won't dive in. We're just going to talk about these experiences that I have had and some lessons that I've learned in kind of a good and bad way, but some lessons I definitely wish I knew at the beginning of my dance career or just wish I knew in general. So we're going to dive into it, though. So again, here's just some of my experiences, some ideas, some thoughts on some people that I've met. Let's just dive right into it. Like, here we go. This right here, this is G-Eazy. I met G-Eazy in 2014 when he went on tour from the Bay to the Universe, which was an awesome, amazing tour. This is when G was kind of blown up, but not really. He was like underground, but like he was getting well known at the time, like huge. But G was awesome. He was an inspiration I looked up to. I danced to some of his music at a couple of talent shows, and I actually won a couple of talent shows dancing to his music. And so when he announced this tour, I was like, whoa. Like, especially the day I was a dancer, I really wanted to meet people. I wanted to just like throw myself out there. I wanted to see what I could do. Now, at this time, it was the beginning of my dance career. I was just graduating high school, or just did. This is, of course, 6 years ago. So I was like kind of shy at the time. I like wanted to do it, but I was still really shy. So either way, I was like, I called my cousin, just even the fact he's going on tour, and just as a fan, I was like, this is crazy. This is so exciting. And she was freaking out. Me and my cousin, like, we got to buy meet and greet tickets. Like, let's do it. So we did. They're in Boise, a couple hours away, but like, let's do it. Let's buy the tickets. We did, and we were pumped. Now, what's really interesting is when you buy the tickets, G was offering this kind of VIP package where it was called the barbershop package. And basically, like, I think it was a limit to 4 people got a barbershop package where it's like the concert, and then there was like VIP, and then there was like the barbershop, which means VIP, you got to get into the line sooner or whatever, and then you also get a haircut. Well, I guess the other 3 people that bought their tickets, I remember it saying sold out at the time. And I don't know why, but when I got there, I was the only person with the barbershop. I was waiting in line with everybody. I was kind of mid-line because people were there waiting early, of course. But I was there waiting mid-line, and I'm like talking to everybody like, hey, nobody had the barber. So I don't know if someone bought them, couldn't show up, or if maybe they didn't sell out, or maybe they were only selling one that show that I happened to snag. I'm not sure. But it was the craziest thing to me when I'm sitting here waiting in line, and the door opens, and I hear this lady with the mic, just kind of those just big wig manager type looking people, a clipboard, mic, headset, like very stern, opens up this door. And this is the first time the door opened after like 3 hours of waiting. And you just hear, is Gage Horn here? And I'm like, and like everyone kind of like, because we're all talking and chit chatting, like you just make friends in lines. Y'all know if you've been to a concert, you make friends. And so people are like, looking over at me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Gage. Like, okay, come in, we're ready for you. I was like, bro, everyone I was with was like, you mother, like I would have paid for the barbershop package if I knew I got to get in first. Like, what is happening? I was freaking out, like, fangirling, and I'm trying to keep it calm. It's just one of those things. And this is part of that conversation too, is like, what is it about us that like loses our mind when we see a celebrity? Like, you can say you're calm and collected all you want until you're in front of people. And I'm about to show you today. I've been in front of quite a few people, and every single time I have lost my shit. I can't keep calm. Like, I'm just like so excited. And one of the biggest lessons learned from all of this, I'll tell you right now, that I think a lot of you guys would totally cope with, is you shouldn't treat, especially if you're trying to be like a big wig, if you're trying to make it out there, you shouldn't treat everyone as a fan. Even though you respect them, you love their stuff, you are their biggest fan, you feel like you're their biggest fan or whatever. You need to like be calm and collected. You need to act like you're on their level, And I learned this from having Chitty on the podcast a while ago, and he's going for the NBA. He's going hard, and he's an awesome basketball player. But I was talking to him, and I'm like, he was telling me he did this, this basketball thing in LA, and he had like a bunch of other NBA players there. And I was like, bro, did you get pictures? He's like, no, man. Like, I ain't trying to fanboy it. Like, I'm trying to, don't quote me on this, but this is kind of what he was saying is, I'm not trying to fanboy this, type thing. I want to be on their level type shit. Like, I want like us to have respect for one another rather than like me running up for a picture. And that hit me hard, and I kind of like just destroyed what I tried to do my whole career when I did all these meet and greets. That I tried to get all these pictures to kind of show clout or fame or some kind of image that I always kind of like. But when I got there, it was still like I acted like we were on completely different levels. I was just this fan, and they were these people with amazing talent, career, success. That it was just a separation. There's just such a big difference if you walk up to your biggest celebrity, be like, "Hey, nice to meet you." Yeah, like I rap too. Like I released a couple of songs. I went on a minor tour back in the day, but just kind of working on some stuff now. But dude, I really respect your music. Like if you keep calm rather than being like, "Oh my God, I'm your biggest fan. I love your music." Like you just lose your shit. Like you just go crazy. That, man, it sounds so simple. And maybe a lot of you guys won't relate to this, but if you guys are really trying to get out there, especially with like people trying to do TikTok really hard nowadays, you're trying to make yourself level up. And now, I'm not saying this will never happen. I mean, obviously, there's still big celebrities. Like I was watching the Eminem podcast with Mike Tyson and Eminem. Eminem was like Mike Tyson. Like I've been a big fan of yours. And he was like, I was kind of I'm kind of fanboying right now. Like, people fanboy, even the biggest of the biggest will fanboy, but it's just the kind of, you have to kind of take control of it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, going back to the story, I just want to kind of share that kind of first thought with you guys. Here I am, the concert, right? And the manager lady lets me through the door. I walk in, I go to the front. There's this huge kind of booth section with a barber there. And this barber is probably one of the coolest dudes. I have a picture with him on my Instagram. I thought I brought it down. I printed it out too. But either way, this guy was really cool. I really respected this guy. He was really, really down to earth. And I'm kind of talked to him how he met G. He's like, yeah, G came to my barber shop. We kind of kept in connection. Now he asked me on tour and chatting with this guy. And it's just kind of crazy. I'm just getting this haircut at a concert. It just sounds so crazy. But hey, it was the VIP package that I paid for. And of course, I'm kind of trying to keep my cool. But of course, fanboying like, so where's G right now? You know, like when you met him, like just asking everything I possibly could. And man. And so he cuts my hair. Nothing too crazy there. And then he is like, all right, you know, kind of talks to me a little bit, shakes my hand, you know, lets me go back to the line, right? But this time I got to be in the front of the line because I bought the VIP package, so I guess I'm in front of the line. So they kind of like left me inside, like not back to the line fully, just they left me on the inside line where the line was going to start after they let anybody in. So after my barber finished up, about 2 minutes later, I'm just kind of standing inside waiting. A whole line of people come in, and this is all the VIP people. And I did not realize that this many people had the VIP package. There was like 100, 200. They all come in, and I'm standing there waiting, and I see my cousin. I'm like, and they're like, you know, just like the whole, like, you know, this is so crazy. And they're like, did you see G yet? And I'm like, no, because they were, you know, not, like I said, they were mid-grade, so I'm kind of yelling at them a little bit. But because I was front of the line, so I was like, yeah, like, this is crazy. Like, no, I just got my haircut. I haven't seen him yet. And then not even a minute later, here comes G. And this is, like, one of the things that, of course, a lot of people know now. But back in the day, I had no idea. G was tall as fuck. I was like, what? G-Eazy, you're so tall. What? Like, he comes out, and I'm like, damn, like. And, you know, I was a dancer. I wasn't a photographer. I wasn't a videographer, especially a videographer like I am now. I did not know posing. I did not know what it would look like, especially when you're in that mind. You're just so excited. I don't know what I was thinking. And this is the picture I ended up with. Let's see if we can get that to focus here. I'm kind of awkwardly like, let's see if I can get it to focus. I think it did. But anyways, I'm kind of awkwardly just kind of crouched down like some hunchback dude pointing at G. Like, I don't know. That is such an awkward position. I don't know what I was thinking. And when I saw the picture, I was like, bruh, this really? I was so embarrassed. I was like, what is this? He was probably like, you know, like, why is he getting so close? I just wanted to be like, you know. But that was the picture. But I want to talk about what I said with G. And this is another conversation, is this whole, if you pay for a meet and greet, do you deserve just a picture with them or do you deserve to have a conversation with them? I don't know. It's definitely based by celebrity now, and it's definitely when people get bigger, it's definitely less of a conversation and more of a picture. But I had a really good conversation with G-Eazy, and this is what's crazy. You guys remember those talent shows I mentioned earlier? Me and G are talking, and I'm like, dude, I love your music. Like, these things, like, I was just enthralled with so much of his music, and I loved so much. So I was just kind of telling him everything that I loved, all the music, all the titles, just kind of fanboying. He's like, yeah, no, thank you. And I was like, dude, I just want to tell you, and this is the kind of trying to pull out of my fanboy, trying to be a dancer again, right? It's like, dude, I just want to tell you, like, I'm a dancer, I'm a hip-hop dancer, and I did a couple of your talent shows, and I performed with some of your music, and I won. And he goes, this is what blew my mind, right? And this is what, especially, it's probably a lot harder nowadays to do, but back then, like, when musicians are up and coming, people don't realize this now, and if you still don't realize this, I'm going to tell you now, when people are up and coming and they're about to blow up, work with them or their music or their art as much as you can. The reason I'm telling you this, if someone's about to blow up and you go on YouTube, right, and you look up, we'll call, I don't know, some rapper, and you look up a rapper that has, you know, not much clout, he's not much fame, but, like, you find him and you look up YouTube videos of people dancing, right? There's no videos of people dancing to his music. Nobody really knows him, nothing, right? But if you look up Eminem dance, like this dance, like hundreds, thousands of videos will pop up, right? you want to hit the algorithm. The reason is if you make a dance with some rapper that hasn't blown up yet, and you make a dance to maybe 5, 6, 7 songs, you really mess with this rapper, you dance all of them, and then he finally blows up, your dance videos will be liked in the algorithm, and your dance videos will be one of the first. And hopefully, if the algorithm treats you right, and it blows up and all those things, it will kind of go with that fame. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not being like exactly quoted on this, but this is just a kind of general good rule idea. Like if you can work with somebody before they blow up, you kind of have a little bit come up with them. And so with G, again, when I did this and I searched like G-Eazy dance videos, he had 2, 3 videos. I just remember like the top one being like, oh yeah, that's G-Eazy's song. And the other ones were like, this isn't even G-Eazy's music, like nor does it have to do with G at all. And like another one, and there was just nothing in the algorithm for the first like 3 pages. I was like, nobody's dancing to G. So I started dancing to G-Eazy's music, did the talent shows, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I posted them, and it was so cool because I would type in like G-Eazy dance, I would be one of the first that popped up. That was awesome. I was like, okay, respect. I love this. And so I'm talking to G-Eazy, and I'm telling him about this talent show that I won. And he goes, oh, the one from Bannock County? I lost my shit. Dancer was right out of me, trying to keep comments right out of me. Back to fanboy. That's where I live. That was the name of the talent show, and it was one of the top 3 videos on the algorithm at the time. So of course it popped up, and I named it after his album too, and so it was like even easier to find. And I took a couple of songs from the album, so the tags and everything kind of just worked well with the algorithm that it popped up. Plus, it wasn't really very competitive. So him to be like, yeah, Bannock County, I saw that. That was actually pretty sick. Yeah, I lost my shit. I was like, you saw? Oh my! I couldn't think of words. I forgot how words speak. I lost my mind. It was so crazy. It was so exciting. I was just like, gee, thank you. Like, that was one of my favorite dances I performed. Like, this is why I love your music. This is why I love you. You're so cool, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, thanks, man. Thank you so much for dancing. Like, those are some sick moves. Now, this is a lesson that literally wanted me to bring it onto the show, even if I brought it into another conversation or wanted to make it on its own like I am now. This is so important to me that I messed up. When he said that was such sick dancing, man, like that was so crazy. And just seeing the genuine look in his face, like he meant it. The fanboy, this is where I wish I knew back then, right? I was a dancer, but I was acting as a fanboy. When he said that he loved my dancing, right then and there, I should have said something along the lines of, bro, dude, I'll dance on your show. Let me up for a song, bro. Like, I'll do it. Like, I should have kept calm and collected and try to throw out just an idea. You get where's it going to say? Nah, man, like, we got a show. We have something that we have to stick to it, right? But throwing that idea out there, especially learning now that concerts, like, I feel like people love to kind of change it up a little bit. They kind of like new, fresh things. They don't want to perform the same show, and that's why a lot of like rappers, singers will kind of change it up anyways, because they don't want to perform the same stuff with the same material, with the same dance, with the same everything. And so kind of at least having like these couple little bit of moments to change it up is unique, right? So with G, I was just like, I should have been like, dude, you should let me perform, like let me dance, like at least ask for a circle or something during the show, like I'll rip it apart, because I was a freestyle hip hop dancer. I wasn't really good with counting. Still probably not the greatest with counting. I just loved freestyling. Like anybody could throw on a song and I could just hear the first 4 seconds of the beat and I just could get the flow immediately. That's what I prided myself most about my hip hop dance careers. I loved freestyling. I loved it. And I should have got more into b-boying and more like kind of breakdancing and stuff. I could do a couple of tricks because, naturally with hip hop and that being so related. But I should have got more into it because then I could have really got into freestyling. But nevertheless, I just really loved freestyling. So I was just like, I was ready. Like I could bust it down at any point. So that's why I should have said. I should have at least mentioned it. Even if he said no, like he said no, But just like that's what I look back and kind of regret is I never threw myself out there. Especially the fact that he was like respecting me for dancing to his music on YouTube and kind of spreading the love, spreading the message of his, like, I don't know, and this is, of course, not like, I mean, that's like one of the biggest things. And I think about this even today, quick side note. You think about this guy named Air Track or Air Tack on YouTube, right? He's kind of blew up, kind of do his own thing, and then he started making videos of Logan Paul, where he kind of broke into a party to find Logan Paul. He kind of went to Logan Paul's house uninvited and kind of tried to like talk to him about business stuff. And then Logan was selling couches, and then he showed up and bought the couches. Like, there's this conversation that is huge that, like, should your fame and your career and your success rely on one person? And because obviously Logan, if you've seen this video, Logan Paul was not happy. Nobody likes it when someone just shows up to your house and shows up trying to do business at all these like non-business type events. But because he put himself out there, he actually got like the third or fourth time trying to talk to Logan Paul. He finally got a meeting with him. Don't know what happened. We'll probably know soon. But if he gets to be on the team now and all those things, it's because he pushed that line. And I respect it in a sense, but I don't know. So relating that to my G-Eazy thing, again, like I'm kind of just like pulling this conversation together is, should he be the one that launches my dance career? Not necessarily. You shouldn't thrive for like one person. Of course, you need to put in your own hard work, build your own like thing. But like if I said that, for instance, if I said that and she goes, I'll give you a song. What song you want? And I said, bro, like any song you can throw me on. He goes, I'll give you this song. I would have been like, and I got to get up there and dance. I could have got a video with dancing on G-Eazy stage. I could have got pictures. I could have just been able to say that, on my resume, especially when you're trying to like, get gigs or whatever, like I danced like on G-Eazy. I danced during one of his tours. That's huge. That could have been huge. It could have amounted to nothing. It could have been a fun experience. It could have been so many things. But the fact that you could have just added that, could have said that, would have helped so much. So I just regret that. It's just an ongoing conversation of should you kind of chase someone down to kind of like try to get up on their stage, try to take some of their clout type thing. I don't know. But this is something that I just wish I said. I just wish I asked to kind of see what could have happened instead of just fanboying. Because with this conversation, after he said that, I was like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I just kept saying thank you. And then we leaned and took our picture. And then I also got a Polaroid, part of the barber shop package. I got the Polaroid picture too, which I think I have. Yes, right here. This is it. And I got a balloon, and like I kind of made this whole little thing from the concert as a whole and what I got. This is the Polaroid. And this one, I saw the picture, right? I saw the picture because this was like 2 minutes after, but I saw the picture of me leaning, and I was like, what am I doing? And I actually stood up straight. So thank God I have a Polaroid picture, a picture with me and G that doesn't look weird of me being all hunchback and weird. So this is one of the coolest things I have. So of course, when I got home, literally the next day, I went to Walmart, bought this shadow frame that I've had for a while. That's all beaten up and broken down. But there's this moment. And after he took the Polaroid, I just like kind of bowed down to him, and he did the same thing. I was just like, dude, thank you. And he's like, no, thank you, man. It was such a good experience because it was like I've had a couple of experiences I'll talk more about, but it was kind of interesting because I had a good 6 or 7 minutes with him. I mean, all this happened in 6 or 7 minutes, which is like a long time. Like when you're there and you're chatting, like it's a long time. And I think I got a little bit of respect because I was the barbershop and he knew that. For instance, this is the last thing I can even show you, is this big guy. Let's see if I can. Might be able to. There we go. And then you can kind of see at the bottom left, right there. He wrote my name. He wrote my name on this. And what's so cool about this is every person after me that got his signature from that day, right, on this autograph thing, I got his autograph, he just put G-Eazy on everybody's. Like my cousins, my friends that I came to the show with, everybody in that line got this. And it just says G-Eazy with this thing. Mine said 2-gauge horn. He actually wrote my name. How do you spell man? 2-gauge horn. He wrote 2-gauge horn, G-Eazy. And I was the only one at that concert that had my name written. And I wonder if that was part of the barbershop. Most likely was part of the barbershop package that, kind of a little bit more, gives a little bit more effort towards me. But I don't know if it's part of the dance. I don't know, And it's just crazy. You kind of base like your whole ideology of how you feel about somebody from one experience. every time I listened to his music, it was different. Every time I heard an album, it was different. Every time he released songs, went on tour after that, it was just different. Because I'm not just seeing G-Eazy as G-Eazy anymore. I'm seeing him as somebody I've shook hands with, I've locked eyes with, I've talked with, I've had a moment with. You relate that. And it's just like when you meet somebody at a mall or something, or you're at a mall, right? And you're passing by all these people every single day. But maybe one day this guy that happens to be at the mall with you every single day, every time you go there, you shake hands, you share a conversation like, oh man, you dropped your penny. Oh, well, here you go, man. Like, and you have a conversation. Now, the next time you go there, what are you gonna do? You're gonna see him out of a crowd. You're gonna think back to that conversation. You're gonna remember what you know about him because of that conversation. And that's kind of what stuck with me. So I kind of knew, though, it made it better because I knew G was genuine. I knew he was awesome. I knew that he like cared about his fans. To be real, like that's a heavy conversation on these days, right? But back then it was just like the whole time I knew like he cared about his fans. Like it was just kind of like a really awesome moment that really hit me deep. But I don't know. It's just. It's hard to open up about it because I've kind of kept it in my head, this conversation of, what I should have done that day. If I should have just been a fan and been there to do what I was supposed to do, which is to meet G and have a conversation, share a moment, move on, or if I try to push myself on him or on his clout. I don't know. This sounds so much worse than I'm actually saying, but kind of just push myself out there to grow with him or I don't know. Like, to me, like, what could have happened is I think the best of the best. I could have said, let's dance. Like, let me dance. He says, yeah, he lets me dance on stage. It could have been this awesome moment where I get up there, start dancing, and he, like, we do, like, the whole fist bump thing, like, and kicked ass, and he's like, dude, that was awesome. Like, he got to share an experience with me, with this random person. I got to share experience with him. It could have been this moment of just, kind of brotherhood, like, respect to one another. The grind is real, like, and kind of just moved on. Like, that was it. Or maybe you would have asked me to go to the next. I don't know. The thing is, I didn't want to ask anything of him. I just wanted to be there in that moment and be like, bro, like, you should let me dance on stage or open up a circle in the audience. Like, let me do this, bro. I'll grind. Like, I'll do some moves, bro. Like, it wouldn't hurt to ask, the biggest reason is right or wrong of me to ask him is it's just that fear, which is worse than anything, is to not do it. The fear of the unknown. What could have been? I hate that I didn't take a step towards what could have been further my dance career. Could have not. I just hate the fact that I didn't try. I was too busy fanboying, fangirling even, yeah, that I didn't want to focus on me being a dancer. I didn't want to focus on my career. I was so busy with idolizing someone that I couldn't take a moment and kind of push my career further, even if it was just a centimeter. If he said no, it was still a shot. I still asked him, So that was a moment with G. That's kind of all the thoughts. I kind of wanted to throw it out there to kind of see what you guys think about it. But it's definitely a unique moment. That kind of took some time, so I'm not going to dive in too crazy about all of these others. I do have a couple of things I'll just share here. I met Belle Jewel. She was on The Voice. She was really cool. Got a signed autograph thing from her. I got a picture with her. She was really awesome. I got an autographed album from Grace Vanderwall. She's really cool. She's really awesome. She won America's Got Talent, and I followed that whole season, and she was awesome. Like, her songs are very deep and powerful, even from a younger person at the time. So I really respect that. One of the greatest rappers. Now, this is I got two more stories for you. We're going to talk about NF. We're going to talk about Macklemore. But NF, I don't have a picture printed, but I do have this. It's an autographed VIP thing. Now, this is the same mindset. This story's not too long, but this is a little bit later in life, and I was definitely in college. I was still pursuing my dance career at a college level, and I loved NF so much. He's still, to this day, he's probably one of my favorite rappers that talks about, real things that relate to me personally and a lot of other people, obviously. But I just love his style. I love his rap. I love how dark and real he can be. That's his whole brand, this real. Like, he talks about real shit, and it's real. But when I went to go meet NF, my best friend's about to go on his mission. He was also on the podcast, Landon Wadsworth. I love you, bro. But I wanted to take him down to go to one of his shows. And when I saw the VIP tickets, how cheap they were, I bought them. I was like, bro, let's go to this show. We go and do this. And but of course I was still dancing at the same time. And I kind of learned a little bit from G at this point. I was like, okay, I want to do something, right? And I was like, I don't know if like I'm gonna be able to ask him for a picture or ask him to be able to let me dance on the show. His stuff is a little bit different than G's. G's kind of vibe with the party, and NF is really like, I feel like he's on brand. I knew he was gonna be a little bit him because he is him, and he's a little bit more serious all the time, you know. So he's goofy, but you know what I'm saying. Like you know what I'm saying. Like especially when I met him, he was definitely what I thought he was gonna be. He was very just kind of serious, kind of got the job done, took the picture. You know, it wasn't really a conversation. Probably took 30 seconds. Walked up, and I was like, NF, like your music is so good. And to this, like he's one of my favorite rappers of the state. But of course, again, I matured. I learned from G-Eazy. I'm trying to just whatever. It's like, yo, NF. Like, this is crazy. I was kind of fanboying the line, but I was like, not this time. I'm going to keep calm, right? And I was like, I kept trying to, like, you know, be me or whatever, kind of calm down. I get to the front of the line, and I see NF. I walk up to him, like, bro, I just want to say your music's so awesome. Like, I love it. I love it. He's like, oh, dude, anytime. And he goes in just immediately for the picture. And I was like, hey, bro, do you think we could, like, kneel and take a picture? Nah, man, let's just stand. That was my conversation with one of my favorite rapper. One of my top 3 favorite rappers. Kind of fucked myself, didn't I? I wanted him to kneel because there was 40 people in front of me and every picture looked the same. There was no conversation. I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand out, to maybe for some weird reason start a little bit longer conversation so I can mention, you know, I'm a dancer, like I respect your stuff. Maybe get to the point I can, hey, let me dance on stage. I don't know. Like this time I just wanted to play it by ear, but be quick with it. Understand, like the goal is just this time is just to have a good conversation. I screwed myself. Because I realized there's 40 people in front of me and everyone was just taking a standing picture. I was like, I'm going to ask him to like kneel or something. That way we can kind of do like a different picture, a more personalized picture. And I don't know. That was the kind of selfish person in me. I was like, I don't want to be the person that like has the same standing picture with everybody else here, right? Like I want to get like my own like styled picture with like this guy. And I'm not saying that all I deserved it, but I just, you know, this is what it is. You can ask and you could be told no. And like I said earlier, it's, you know, what's the worst they can say? No. Yeah, it still hurts. I was like, oh, yeah. And we took a picture. And he looked to the next person. And so I kind of walked away awkwardly. Landon talks to him, does his thing. And he comes over to me and he's like, bro, what happened? So I'll have to look back. I don't know if I still have it. I switched phones a while ago. I probably do. But there, you know, when you take pictures with iPhones, you can actually view 3 seconds before, right? It has that kind of like when you hold the thing, it'll take a live photo so you can see 3 seconds before. And it's so funny because when I got my picture, if you hold the thing down, you can see me going, standing up, being like, oh, sorry. Yeah. Of course, you get, well, maybe you could hear the audio. Yeah, I think you can hear the audio in the background, actually. And it's just like, you can just hear me going, standing up, like, oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. And then just walking. Yeah, I messed up. So that one's kind of short. That's just kind of an embarrassing moment on my part. Again, I don't know. Like, there's just, you know, again, this whole brand of mine, Imperfect, and trying to grow from our imperfections. I look at everything as what is right and what is wrong. And I tell you all these things because it is a big conversation to this day that, like, if I ever saw somebody still grinding and trying to get out there and try to do this kind of meet and greet, trying to get in someone, like, one-on-one, that's the question. That's the question right there. Is it shady? Is it wrong for you to go there and try to push business on somebody? Is it wrong to try to launch a career off someone else's? Is it wrong to do that? Or is it right? Could they share a great moment from, like, you know, having the same, you know, all 200 VIPs just fangirling on them to have that one person be like, yo, like, let's do. He's like, oh, well, let's see some moves. You do some moves, busted. I was like, oh, yeah, you're on. You're coming on for a song, you know? Which leads to this is the biggest life lesson. This last one I have for you guys. Macklemore. Now, Macklemore is different. Macklemore is different. I was listening to Macklemore in high school. Okay. Man, like 10 years ago at this point. Like, yeah, 9 or 10 years ago. I was listening to Macklemore since he started. I love and adore Macklemore. So, of course, you guys know Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. They were the dynamic duo. Ryan Lewis was he produced all the music. He directed some music. Like, he did a lot, and Macklemore was a rapper, right? Like, they were the perfect duo to make some great songs. And I should say I'm a big fan of Ryan Lewis too. Macklemore gets a lot of credit, but them working together really is what I absolutely loved. And I still love Macklemore, and I still love Ryan Lewis to this day. But I love them both. But I've definitely been listening to Macklemore before I knew about Ryan Lewis. So Macklemore was one of my biggest inspirations to this day because I idolized him from probably the first celebrity I really loved and genuinely cared about, and the first poster I had printed on my walls. Like, he was like one of my favorites, right? Like I said, 14, 15 years old in high school, when I was just starting to dance, and I loved his music. I bought his albums. He was the only albums I ever bought as a kid. Like, I loved albums. I love physical CDs. But I wasn't going to, you're a teenager. You ain't going to spend $15 on, Amazon going and buying a CD. Like, you ain't going to do that, but I did, right? I love Macklemore. So, to dive into this, Macklemore's the biggest inspiration, yada, yada, yada. I loved him. I respected him. He's announced a tour he's about to go on called The Unruly Mess That I've made, sorry. And it's an album. It was a tour. I bought the album as soon as he released it. I'll never forget. I was at work, and I got it on Amazon as soon as he released it, pre-ordered it, right? And I loved the whole idea about it. He, got a cabin. They made music away from everything. It was just a really awesome album, right? Now, this point, I was my second year in college, and I've been listening forever. I really loved him. I've already danced to him. I've done talent shows with him. I did a performance at a couple of more established shows. It was really cool. I did a lot of work with him. I'm not trying to underwrap it all, but I just want to continue the story. And so, yeah, I loved his music. I loved dancing to his music, yada, yada, yada. And he had a song called Dance Off. Dance Off, right? And I loved this song. This was a really hype party song. It was just one of the good ones. Just one you could bust out with the homies, and one you can kind of freestyle to, or kind of dance practice before your dance class. It was a kind of a bop. I loved it. So I'm not trying to undermine. I just don't want to go too far in depth of why I love Macklemore. We can talk about, if you go back on my Instagram far enough, I shaved my hair like his most through high school. I did so much, but I could go on forever. I'm just going to kind of avoid that for now. But just know, I was a big fan of his. I danced to his music, right? He announces this tour. Of course, I buy tickets. Now, I can't remember necessarily if he had VIP and I couldn't afford it, or if I'm pretty sure they're already sold out. I can't remember the whole VIP standpoint, because I was going to think about the same thing. At this point, this is before NF, and this is after G-Eazy. And this was when I was at kind of a peak in my dance career. I was actually getting asked to perform at a couple of shows. I was getting paid. Well, I've only got paid 3 times directly. We will pay you to dance, rather than talent shows. You can win money, right? But this is one of those 3 times to perform at this New Year's Eve gala at on my campus, and all this stuff. It was a really awesome time in my career. It was a good time. I just kind of remember just kind of feeling like it was about to amount to something, but it didn't. Oh my God, I'm so shady on myself. There's a lot of things involved. Again, another conversation. This is so hard, man. It's so hard to direct a conversation when it's just you, because it's just me here. So you guys listening, thank you so much for bearing with me and listening. I promise I'll rewatch this 1,000 times, learn what I need to do, and maybe write down a couple of headliners so I stay on point. But Macklemore and Ryan Lewis announced this tour, and they're about to go on tour, and I buy tickets, and this is with my ex-girlfriend, and we bought tickets, me and her, and I was like, this time I'm going to dance. I want to meet them. Of course, for some reason, the VIP didn't go down, but I was like, okay, when they do this show, which was in Salt Lake City, I want to, do something, right? I want to dance, whatever. And I'm always the guy at this point, especially after the G-Eazy, I was always ready for an opportunity. There's a couple of times, even the Performing Arts Center on campus or some other things. Like they'd have like a person come and I'd help with the show and I'd just like talk to like the people that are performing and I'd be like, hey, let me get a dance video, like things like that. Like whatever, like if I could ever get the opportunity, I would jump on it. You know, I was quick. Like someone was like freestyle, like this person's over here. I'm like I just go ham, right? Just those kinds of things. So I was like, I'm just going to go to this concert. And if something pops up, I'll jump on it. But like me and you, like this, I love Macklemore. It's like my third, fourth concert, whatever. Let's just go there, kind of vibe, right? So me and my girlfriend at the time bought tickets, went to Salt Lake City. Now this is crazy. This story with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis is crazy. What I'm about to tell you. I go to Salt Lake City. Okay, we walk in. And we're about an hour before the show, and they let us in, and we just bought general things, and we're all kind of just vibing. They're playing some music. We're all just, the place is filling up with people, man. It was just getting loaded with people. We were not to the front of the stage, but we're kind of behind the center of the stage. It kind of, I don't know really how to explain it, but kind of like a little bit more than middle. But anyways, this guy comes out, and the music kind of shuts down for a little bit, and for a second, and this guy comes out and starts playing music on the left side, right? And I'm more on the right side. And I'm like, what's going on over there? Like, and I kind of see a circle, but I couldn't really tell, right? But I was like, whatever, you know, I'm talking, whatever. And he comes to my side, and now I can hear him, and he goes, hey, let's get a freestyle circle going. And I'm like, what? Immediately, I was ready for that more than anything in my life. The circle starts opening up, right? He turns on this big ass like portable speaker, and it's loud, actually. It's pretty loud. I don't know what it was, but it was loud. And the circle starts opening up. Someone goes in, and as soon as they stand up, and I've done enough freestyle circles at this point. And so I was waiting for the moment they can kind of tell they slide back into the crowd. I went out, and I went so hard. My fiance didn't record it, or my girlfriend at the time didn't record it. I wish she did, but she did not. And so, but I just went in there, and I just went harder than I ever did. I just started flipping tricks, jumping up on my hands, backflips, whatever I could do. Start dancing with the song, like just going like hard. And this girl comes in, right? Me and this girl just start going at it, right? And she starts dancing. I back up. She kind of pushes me back. I'm like, yo, and I start going back, and we just start kind of have this one-on-one. The crowd is loving it. They're bumping us up. They're just like, oh my god, like, and me and her just going ham. And like after like the song ended, me and her were just like, yo, and we kind of like, you know, like that was awesome, right? And I just thought it was like a freestyle circle. The guy behind the metal fence comes over. Hey, you two, come here. And we're like, okay. He's like, hey, listen. And people are like loud at this point, right? The music's back on. He's like, listen, you guys have some awesome energy between each other. Oh my God, that was awesome. That was wicked. Listen, Macklemore has a song called Dance Off. When it plays, we want both of you guys on stage to dance off against each other while he's rapping the song. And I was like, dude, talking about this shit now just blows my mind because it was so mind-blowing. It was like everything I've ever worked for, the years and years and years of dance lessons and dance practice and freestyling and talent shows and everything I worked so hard, like this was the big moment. I'm going to dance on stage with my idol. Someone I rocked the hair, someone I listened to every album, someone I bought every album, someone I went to every concert, every tour, everything. This was the moment. I was so mind blown that like my dance career and my fanboy was just met at this equilibrium. They just met perfectly. Like, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna squeeze the most out of it for your dance career. But we're gonna like meet Macklemore. Like, this was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. So he gives me this bracelet called Dance Off. I should have brought it down, actually. It's still hung up on my wall. And it says Dance Off with white. And he puts it on my arm, and then he also takes a picture. And I was like, what's the picture for? He goes, this is so we know we can find you in the crowd. I was like, oh, okay, awesome, right? And this is at the front. We're at the front of the crowd. And there's this, the big metal thing that keeps you from the stage. Like, that thing's, like, not going anywhere. So we were, like, right on the metal and kind of getting squished by everybody. But, like, whatever. Like, we're at the front. We're going to stay here now, right? And my girlfriend at the time was freaking out. And I'm just, like, I'm trying to keep my cool. And she's losing her mind. And so I thought I made it. I get on Snapchat, and I make these snaps. I'm like, guys, I'm about to dance on stage with Macklemore. Like, losing my mind. Like, this is so crazy. I'm so ready. I'm going to dance so hard. Like, this is going to be so awesome, guys. I'll make sure, like, my girlfriend will record it, blah, 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 blah. Getting chills again talking about this, right? So, at that point, Macklemore starts the show, right? The show starts. We're, like, having a good time. We're partying. Like, it's a whole show, right? I'm listening every song. Is this dance off? Is this dance off? Right? About halfway through the show, about an hour and a half, the show was popping. It was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. It was so awesome, so energetic, so many dancers, trumpets. I loved it, right? Me and my girlfriend, I keep saying fiance, sorry. Me and my girlfriend were pushing against this metal thing, right, at the time. And I don't know how many times I can say that, but yes, at the time. This was years ago, a long time ago. But we're getting pushed against this metal bar, and she was getting very uncomfortable. And she's like, yo, like, this is hurting, like, this is hurting. And I was like, yo, like, we got this, like, dance I was going to be, and I want you center stage to take the video, right? And it's just like the next song came out, and we were just, you get railed. If you're ever in the front of a row, if you've ever been at a concert, you get railed, and it hurts how heavy. When the concert starts rocking, you're going into this metal thing that's not going anywhere, that you feel your chest is just breaking. I was going to hold it, but she just, like, she wasn't having it. And I was like, oh, man. So I was like, okay, you know what? You can record from the middle. Like, let's just go to the middle. Let's back up, and that would kind of get some space, and we'll come back, like, when it comes on. Like, they know, That was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. I regret some things, some personal things. Career-wise, that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. We went to the center of the crowd. Still no song, no dance-off, right? They end the show, and I was a little bit confused, right? I'm like, wait, the show's over? And all of us are kind of like, but not even 10 seconds later, we're about to have a dance-off. The music starts playing. I'm like, oh, my God. Remember at the beginning I told you everyone in that circle was pumping me up. They were lifting me up. When I finished, like, the dance battle, they were all, like, coming to me, patting my back, like, shaking my head, like, you are awesome. Like, I feel like the crowd was, like, backing me up. I was the center of the crowd. All the power, the strength, like, like, the crowd and I are just like a team, like, not a team, like, we're all a unit. Like, we're gonna up this stage. Like, we were just, like, together. They turned against me so quick. Another thing is that we're center of the crowd, and you guys will know this if you're at a concert. Have you guys ever been to a concert and try to go forward through a crowd? Have you ever been here and the front of the stage is here and you try to move forward? People will not let you through. I am trying to push through. People like, hey, no, like, jabbing me in the face. Like, you're not getting in front of me. Like, no, like, they would not let me through. And some of these are the same people that were hyping me up during that circle at the beginning of the show. They will not let me through. I'm like, yo, and I'm trying to scream because the music is playing. I need to be in front of this stage. Like, Macklemore has me. I'm about to do the dance off. Like, hey, I start losing my shit, and I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I got to go. Like, I got to go. They won't let me through. And the music really starts playing. And I see two bodyguards come up on stage and they start looking for the two dancers. And I was losing my shit. So I start going out the side, right? I can't go forward. I'm going to go out the side, try to come around to the front. I start going out the side, and I see them find the other girl. And they grab her hand, they lift her over. And I see the guy that took my picture looking for me. And I go up, and I start to try to kind of climb over the side of it. And this was the security guard that worked for the venue, not for Macklemore. And I was about to climb, hey, what are you doing? And he starts pushing me back. I'm like, I'm supposed to be on stage right now. Like, I got to go. And he's like, no, you ain't going anywhere. I'm like, listen, look at my bracelet. Like, I'm supposed to be on Dance Off. They got me. And I see the guy. This is what's crazy. Here I am, right? I'm on the side of the stage, right? I'm on the side of the stage. And here I see this security guard stopping me. And I'm trying to explain to him what's going on. But he will not let me through. And behind him, I see the guy. Where is he? Like, looking for me. And I can literally see this moment where he just shrugs. He goes, grab that kid right there. and they grab this kid and they lift him over the fence and they put both of them on stage. And I'm still fighting with a security guard. And after I see him on stage and the music starts, I kind of just back up. I felt like crying. I felt like screaming. I kind of just lost hope. I was just like this was something I've built for. That's the way I looked at it. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I was like, this is what I've worked for. Like, this is my moment. This is the thing I wanted to become something. Like, this is something I earned. They have my picture. I have the wristband. I danced. I put myself out there, and it worked for the first time of all these concerts, these meet and greets with plenty more I'll have to share another day. Like, this was my moment that I get to be on the stage, that I get to dance with my favorite rapper, that I get to perform for my dance career, that I get to add to my resume in front of, I think it was like 8,000 people. It was a huge venue. And I didn't get to do it. It was like the Salt Lake Bel Air, Balt Air or something. I can't remember. It was whatever it was maxed out. If you guys have been to that venue. I don't know. To this day, I'm a little still hurt. There's a little bit more to the story, but just thinking back, it's just hard. That moment was very shocking. After seeing that, I went back to my fiance. Why do I keep saying that? My ex-girlfriend. I went back to my ex-girlfriend, and what happened? I'm like, I wasn't at the front of the stage. To this day, I don't think I've ever told her directly. We broke up, a couple months after that anyways, but I never told her directly, like, how, why I didn't dance. I just, like, they didn't, like, let me up there, like, kind of explain it that way. It's because, it's not just because of this. Like, I was hurting too, but it was the big push of her being in pain, and I was like, let's just step back away from the front of the stage. The reason we stepped back cost me. If we stayed at the front, faced it for another hour, that pain of everyone in the crowd pushing and fighting, and just kind of fought back a little bit harder, and then I would have been right there when the guy would have been like, hey, that's him, here's the picture, pull him over, let's dance. I could have been right there, but I wasn't. I wanted to protect her. I wanted to protect myself. I thought they would, I don't know, get on the, this is how stupid I was. Maybe they get on the mic and be like, Gage Horn, come to the front. I don't know. That's the thing. They didn't really clarify. They were just like, all right, we'll call you up when it's over. Like, and when I hear call me up, like, I didn't, obviously they meant like, just stay here, and when the show starts, we'll pull you over the fence, like, type thing. I thought, I don't know. I didn't know. It wasn't like this, like, explained, like, you're hired 100%. It was just kind of like this fun moment that they're trying to include into the show. And I kind of, for them, it was, this fun moment. For me, it was everything, right? It was everything to perform with Macklemore. It was everything to launch my dance career that much, little bit higher. It was everything just to be on a stage in front of a crowd and just dance. Like, that was the biggest moment. Like, I love dancing to this day. Like, another conversation, but I loved it to be on the stage and perform in front of the crowd and get that energy up and to perform. Like, that would have been such a soul filling moment for me that it would have just been awesome as shit. To be honest with you, I just love to dance. It would have just been a moment in of itself. So I miss it, right? The show goes on. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. I go up and I find one of the dancers kind of hanging out, and I'm like, hey, and she looks at me, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, hey, I was supposed to meet Macklemore. Do you think, I had the wristband. Do you think maybe I could, can I get a picture with him? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, honey, the show's over. I don't know. I was kind of hysterical, oh yeah, will we bring Macklemore out for me? Like, selfish, I know, but I don't know. I was so hysterical. I just wanted something to come of it, and the show's over, honey. So a couple other little things happen, whatever. I guess the one kind of thing I can mention is the little kid that did get pulled over. I saw him leaving outside, and he was probably 12, 13. He was the most happy kid. He was like, oh, and his dad's like, just like freaking out. You can see both of their hands like going crazy. And I'm like, that kid literally just made one of the biggest moments of his life. Like, he just outlived one of the biggest moments of his life ever. Yeah, to that kid, he did it. It's my spot, but fuck you. So, I'm just playing, but seriously. it was just awesome kind of seeing that. Kind of brought me back together a little bit. Got in the car and kind of explained it to my ex-girlfriend, and yeah, like I said, there's a couple of things, but skipping all that, before I kind of end this, I wanted to talk about kind of a positive ending to this. That all happened, and I wanted to make something of this whole experience. I never really did. I tried a couple of ways, but I did make a big Facebook post about it, being like, "This is what happened. It sucks, but it was an awesome experience in some way that I even was chosen." Now, this is what's really cool about this experience. There was this guy named Gilvon Spencer, I believe, Gilvon Spencer, and I never met the dude. I've never have. I guess we were friends on Facebook as a mutual friend or something. Anyways, he saw the post, and he took it upon himself to send it in, to send a letter, or to send an email in to the fan group of, like, the official fan group of Macklemore. Macklemore got the email, or his team did. His team for sure. And they sent me. I did not know anything about this. I just posted the status, never let of it. 3-4 weeks later, I get a package that says Macklemore and Ryan Lewis a month after the concert. And I have this all wrapped up. If I can try to pull it in. This is an autographed album from Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. I open this up. They also sent me socks and a bunch of stuff. I kind of include it all in this picture right here. I gotta get a close up of this guy for sure. You can kind of see my hat, a shirt. I had socks on, the album. They sent me a package of all this stuff, and they sent me a flag too. They sent me all this stuff right here, right? All this Macklemore and Ryan Lewis merch with a signed copy of the album. I did not know how or why I got it. About a day, like, I freaked out. I videoed it somewhere on Facebook, and I was like opening it because I recorded myself opening it because I didn't know what it was. So I was just like, "What is this?" Before I even started recording, and opened it, and then I lost my shit on camera. But about the day later, after I posted that video, I get a message from this Gil guy, and he's like, "Hey, did you get the package?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "The Macklemore Ryan." I was like, "Yeah, wait, what?" And he's like, "Listen, I heard about your experience and how you were supposed to dance on stage, and then you ended up not being able to because of that thing and whatever. But because of that, I sent an email to them, and they replied and told me to give them your address." And and that was one thing I forgot. Yeah, because so I don't know this guy at all, right? But I got a message, and he literally messaged me, "Hey, what's your address?" And I was like, "Why? What's up?" And he's like, "Oh, just trust me, right?" And I think my friend Landon, again, the one that was mutual, said, "Oh, just give it to him," because I can't really remember how it went down, but for some weird ass reason, I gave this random kid my address. Not smart, but I just gave him my address because he literally just said it's important. It's important. I think I talked to Landon. Landon said he's a good guy or something like that. So I was like, okay. And then I didn't think much about it until a couple weeks later. I get this. He messaged me the next day. He's like, "Hey, did you get the package?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, what? How do you?" And I was like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Yeah, man. Well, since I heard about your experience, that thing happened. I wanted to send a thing into Macklemore, which I did. The team responded, and they wanted your address. So that's why I was asking for your address, and I just wanted to make sure you got the stuff." Gil, thank you so much to this day. That closed a hole in my heart that could have been here to this day, honestly. That was kind of all of it aside, I got an autographed album from one of my favorite rappers of all time. That is awesome. So awesome. And from Ryan Lewis, like, Mac and Ryan, like, I don't know. It just filled my heart a lot. So there's a happy ending of sort. I missed the opportunity that I talked about in these other two with NF and G. I could have taken. I had the opportunity with Macklemore, but there's nothing more to say to it than there was inconvenience. It was all inconvenience that stopped me from performing on stage with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis in front of thousands of people. Still a little bit hurt. Still a little shady, obviously. Again, I don't think these things should determine your dance career, but these are some of my highlights that really I feel like I wish happened. You can't hate on it. You can't sit on dwell on it. You can't do these things. I let it go, and I kept grinding my dance career. Obviously, not dancing too much anymore. I switched over to film as a degree and podcasting and projects and things like that I really want to get, like, that I love, and kind of switched over to. But I left dance because I just felt like I wasn't a good dancer. I didn't have the I didn't. There's another conversation of its own. But I quit dance for personal reasons, and didn't quit dance because of these bad experiences. I want to say that, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you there was a piece of me that when I quit dancing, I tried so many times, including these with celebrities and other things that, again, later stories, that this is why I'm quitting dance, and that's why I made a decision to quit dance. So, all said, though, thank you, Gail, one more time for actually doing this. I have an autographed album. I have the wristband. I earned the opportunity to dance on stage with Macklemore, but I didn't. It's kind of interesting because I'm like, what if I talk to my girlfriend now, my fiance, my actual fiance, and I'm talking with her all the time. Like, on my thing, on my resume, at least I can be like, hey, I almost danced on stage with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Hey, is that something? No, fuck. These are memories. These are mistakes learned. These are lessons learned. I hope you guys can learn something from them all. It's a lesson learned. You grow as a human being. We are all imperfect. We are imperfect. Be the best human you can be, though. Realize your imperfections. Grow on those imperfections. Be proud of the imperfections you have, but while working and continuing to grow them and be the best human being you can possibly be. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. A little bit different one. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have anything to add to these conversations, please add to them, and let's grow this conversation. There's just so much I still don't know that I want to understand and kind of fill holes, but we can only do that with conversation. So leave a comment, join Imperfect Fam, maybe start a conversation there, and we'll go from there. That's all we can do as human beings. Grow every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Peace out.